Is that what happened?
No. I'm prepared to tell you what went down, and I've never told anyone before.
I turned and went to the next room, and then I was looking at Osama bin Laden. That's what I mean.
So you believe you fired a shot?
I did a shot.
Because what this means is, in the official debrief, the truth wasn't told. Somebody somewhere lied.
Rob doesn't seem to be talking about who took out bin Laden, but he's saying the official story was a lie. And once you admit that, every version of the bin Laden story becomes suspect. Let's keep going.
Well, if the truth wasn't told, I'm going to connect the two on that, right? If the story that was told in the official debrief is not what happened on the ground, then...
It was kind of close.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do, that doesn't mean anything.
Well, at a debrief, it really doesn't either.
Rob gets into some detail here, never talked about before. Why was the debrief not fully truthful, 100% truthful? Why was it misleading? We'll see. How does Rob fit in? This is fascinating.
I heard other guy who got it. They said Nisro, and one of the answers I heard was, "Oh, great, we're never going to hear the end of this." So people were asking, and then we get back, and there's we go to the CBs. There's the internet stuff like that on the flight over. People are, we got Virginia, we got some guys in DC, we got Coronado. Hey, don't tell anybody, but. Then you get back, and it's like to your bartender, don't tell anybody. So my name's out. Someone that was a fellow at the White House called to say, hey, we heard it was you. Yeah. Name's out.
Well, that's out, but that's inside of at least the bubble. I'm talking like...
I didn't release it then. We're going to be the best friends forever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And there was just...
So who's he talking about, the best friends forever? He's talking about the men in the room, right? You have the point man, you have Rob, and the way I understand it, another one. We'll get to that. There's multiple stacks. All sorts of new information here. All sorts of who took the first shot and why did Rob take the other shot. Well, let's hold on.
Just getting back, there's butthurt.
Publicly coming out.
Biss was going around, starting a lot of shit, going to see the Mass Chief every Monday morning, talking about me, saying I'm signing a book deal.
What would you have done differently?
I would not have provided the top cover in the after action report that I did. It happened after the bin Laden raid. I remember saying to myself, I'm going to regret this. This is going to come back to haunt me.
Okay.
It has.
Yeah.
What do you mean by top cover?
I can explain to you what happened, because the big thing they talk about is an after action report.
I have heard or read that there exists a cell phone audio recording.
Yeah, I've heard there might be two, but I know the commanding officer recorded one. Right. First debrief was over bin Laden's body in Jalalabad. Mechanics from TF-160 pointing at him. Me. That's the guy that got him. Throw the thing away. The other bird comes back. I run into the point man. We have a discussion over here, and then bin Laden's body's over here, so we go over that. And the ground force commander said to Bill McRaven, Admiral Bill McRaven, do you want to meet the guy that killed him? He brought him over to me. He put his hand on my back of my neck like this, and it was like almost a fatherly yet uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Looking at bin Laden, he says, "Your life just changed forever."
What did you and the man talk about away from bin Laden's
Was he hit
body?
when he asked me the two questions anyone from that team has asked me about the room, other than an email I got from Biss later. And he asked me, where the fuck was everyone?
Okay.
And then he said, was he hit when you went in there?
So he had taken shots.
He took a shot.
Okay. And was asking you whether or not he was hit.
When I saw him.
When the debrief went down.
Yes.
What was the difference between those two?
The difference was the shot hit him on the top of the head. And then what we said was, and then I went in and he was circling the drain. Mm-hmm. That's the story. That's clean.
Okay, so that's what they put in the after-action report. I'm going to assume the point man is not Bissonette, is red. So what we got right now is there was a shot from the point man that injured UBO, and then Rob took the shot that ended it, right? So effectively, he is the one that took out bin Laden, not the first guy. We've all heard that story, right? He comes through the door. He's the only guy, comes through the staircase. Maybe I'll put it in here. Sees bin Laden there with his wife and takes care of business. We've heard that story, which that's not true now based on what we're hearing from Rob.
Clean.
Meaning there's no questions. That's their debrief.
Is that what happened?
No.
Wow.
I'm prepared to tell you what went down, and I've never told anyone before.
Why is he telling us now? Is somebody coming out with a book? They do go through the lawsuit. Link in the description, Cleared Hot Podcast, Andy Stumpf. He goes through a lot here. And Rob he's very delicate with his words, we'll call it. It's hard to tell what the hell is going on here.
We'll get to that. But so, okay.
Okay.
This is an exclusive.
Because what this means is, in the official debrief, the truth wasn't told. Which another way to put that is, Somebody somewhere lied.
Yeah, possibly.
Well, if the truth wasn't told, I'm going to connect the two on that. So what actually happened?
And so then they were separated. I'm looking sort up. And normally in an urban environment, I'm like 7 dudes.
I'm not going to steal all Andy's thunder. There's some stuff in here that it's hard to believe I'm hearing it after this many years.
8 dudes in front of me. I'm going to back up because they're going to. If they start, I'm going to back up. But I'm like, we're going to fucking die anyway. I got to see what they do because we're very good at being quiet. None of that yelling shit. None of the clear. I'm back here. Point man goes here, shoots. Everyone splits, and then I've been asked, why didn't he follow his shots? Well, because that's another level. That's the 3rd floor, and he's by himself. He took a shot, and he could see movement. There was a curtain there, and it almost looked like a military blanket, a green blanket, but a shower curtain. And I can see it right now, and on my part, it definitely was not bravery. It was, this is where we run in. He's going to blow himself up, okay? And I'm going to feel, I mean, it's like, I might survive this. I'm going to feel it. I'm tired of thinking about it, though. Let's fucking do this, right? So we did that. And he goes up the stairs, and he moved it, and the girls are right there, his daughters. And they're suicide bombers. Got to be, right? So he moved them. There's bin Laden standing there. Amal's right in front of him.
How much time did you guys have up there with just the two of you?
Seconds, if that. Because as we enter, I shoot him. It was enough time to see his tongue come out, and his head was fucked up. And I saw his son Hussein, too. And the humanity of it came through. It's like, this kid has nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
Move him back, and I turn, and they're here.
Okay.
So they turn, and now it's 2 trains. And this is not chaos. But this is now an extremely dynamic room.
So we go from the two of them, the point man in first, which we hear on the internet's red. Don't know if that's true. That never comes up here. Takes the shot, recounting here, doesn't do everything that's necessary. I'm being delicate for YouTube. Rob finishes it off, and now we got the whole crew in, or the second stack team, whatever.
The other train comes in. Now guys are shooting bin Laden. I need to go get a picture. I pour water on his face. Someone point blank shoots him in front of me. And I go, what the fuck was that? We got to identify this guy. Now I ask people, I've never told that story before. And there's a little bit more that I will save for the Bible. Guys come in there blasting bin Laden. One guy fucking, I'm not telling that story. We need to make this work. This is a bad situation now.
But I believe they're on Title 50 orders, right? Or 10. Correct me if I'm wrong here. So they're working for the agency at this point, not for the DOD. However, that doesn't mean, and Rob goes on to talk about this at length, he doesn't want his boys, and probably including himself later, to get burned by the government when they change their mind.
And I've been leaving breadcrumbs for this for 10 years now.
It's a tough question, man. I'll be honest with you. I lean towards telling the truth.
That is the truth.
No, that's what I mean in the debrief, though, too. Because the reality is,
at the time, it didn't matter. We're going to be best friends forever, and no one needs to know this happened.
It's still a lie, though.
No.
So all 3 of the guys agreed to a debrief after action report that was inaccurate. We're going to be best friends forever and keep a secret, right? How do you keep a secret? You don't tell anybody, and one person knows, right? You. Wow.
I didn't tell it either.
There's also lying by omission.
Whatever. It's a debrief. I didn't tell that part of the debrief. This is the truth.
I understand that. What I'm saying is you knew that what was being said in the debrief wasn't the truth. And I'm not trying to assess blame. That's not what I'm trying to do.
The global, obviously.
Eventually, you realize this is going to be global news. Let's put it that way.
Well, but at the time, being in that, like, everyone's special.
Yeah.
So you don't really take credit. Yeah, not credit, but you don't appreciate how special.
Now, no one will know who Rob O'Neill is but for this, right? If he was the 3rd guy that did it, Bissonnette went and did a book without DOD approval. They took all that money. The rest of the guys on the raid, we don't even know who they are. So, but for Rob doing it, taking credit or getting credit from his team, however that kind of shook out, the way I see it, he took credit. You don't even know who Rob O'Neill is. He's just another team guy who's a chacho, right?
As a shit, when we got back to the Seabees place and on Yahoo, you see SEAL Team 6 kills Osama bin Laden. That was surprising.
Yeah.
Would I do that differently now? Fuck yeah. I
House...
would do it differently. If I could go back and do the debrief differently, you're goddamn right I would.
So going back to your question, though, I want to believe that I would have told the truth to include the guy walking up point blank, because here's the reality. He shouldn't have done that in the first place.
Fuck no, he shouldn't.
And I understand.
But also, I shouldn't be
understand
getting
exactly
blamed for being the guy that did it.
I agree with you.
I'm a lot taller than the guy that did it.
We're
talking about, you can tell people who are there by the shadows in their walk. You know goddamn well I did not canoe bin Laden.
Yeah. I understand why not only somebody would do that, but also shoot his dead body after 20 years of sustained combat.
To be fair there too, I don't have a problem with that. I just need to identify him. What I have a problem with is someone doing it and then years later they say, that's what I did, try and take credit for it. That is not the case. I'm a fucking team leader. I just watched a guy who's not a team leader miss the shot of his life. I'm not going to put that in a debrief either.
Now, is that Bissonette or Red or somebody different? I know Bissonette is, as I understand it, quite a bit smaller in height than Rob. Is he referring to Bissonette there? Is this all coming out because Bissonette's writing a book? Why is this coming out now? I tried to get a hold of Andy to find that out, but I don't have that answer yet.
Rude as is that we lied before, but now I need you to believe us because we're telling 100%. The truth. And I don't. And that leads into the bigger question.
No. I've told the same story every time.
I'm not talking about your particular story.
I didn't get to that detail.
Again, I'm talking about the legitimacy of the debrief, which is what things like McRaven is going to make his decisions based off of, or information. You know what I mean? Like, so what would you define the top cover as that you provided? Where did the shot go from the number one man? Is that what he was worried about?
I don't know what he was worried about. I don't know. I mean, it's almost the common understanding that other dudes are going to shoot bin Laden too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the top cover's fine because you don't need to know what happened. And then it's going to be fine. And that's the mission. I don't have a problem with that. But then the debrief turns into this, Bissonette's putting himself in history.
Why do you think there is such a difference and the difference seems to occur at the level between the second floor stairs and the third?
It seems like it.
I haven't fully read through Biss's book.
Well, the only reason there's a difference would be, the way I understand it, the three guys that were there. The point man, we recognized Bissonette, and we recognized O'Neill. If you remember this, but Rob said Bissonette's book was based on the after action report, which now we're finding out is not accurate. Whoa.
I've read through portions of yours as well. I haven't read both of them in totality. Mm-hmm. But it seems like there's a very parallel track up to a point, and then it kind of diverges.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
his book was based on the after action report. And then he got sued and lost.
The deviation, though, seems to be going up from the second to the third floor.
Yeah.
What do you think he saw which would make him, how much time after the events that you described did he arrive to even be able to see anything?
I couldn't. It's got to be seconds, though. And see the uniforms. Guys are in. I remember specifically seeing, I'm not going to say his name, he's out. The third guy, point man for the second train, come in. I know exactly who he is. And he didn't know what happened in the room. So everyone behind him doesn't know what happened in the room. From being the point, not the point man behind me, we brought him downstairs to the sniper who rescued Richard Phillips. So, I mean, it was quick. It's not like
it's not an extended period of time.
Well, we got bin Laden. We're going to leave now. And it didn't matter. It really didn't matter.
Yeah.
Does it matter who shot bin Laden? No. But when he ran around talking about it, people got interested. And then people came out, I guess, from the woodworks in the military and said, well, it wasn't true. Now we're hearing the after action report wasn't accurate. But can we believe anymore? Why is this coming out now? Can we just let it go? Because this $25 million lawsuit, he wants the lawsuit to proceed with anti-hero and Brent Tucker. All right.
Why? I mean, so was the point man just worried that he had winged them all? I just don't understand the need for the top cover. What was the agreement you guys came to?
We're in Pakistan. It's a Title 50.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen. But we don't know if they're just going to burn us.
Yeah.
So Title 50 being not DOD, working for the intelligence community, probably CIA, right?
And for people listening, Title 10 and Title 50 are different authorities.
I'm not saying you missed a shot. I'm not going to say that. It sucks. That's an important shot. You're supposed to hit that.
But he's saying he missed it, right? Because Rob said he took the final shot because UBL wasn't down. It wasn't done.
And them all get shot. This is, and by the way, make this decision quickly because the rest of history is basing everything on this. So
and he was good with that? Was it his idea or was it a combination?
He was talking.
Yeah.
All right, so point man missed, hit the wife. Rob comes in later and takes out the threat, takes out UBL, right? That's what I'm hearing. That's the story we got now. In the past, it was just Rob coming up, and Osama bin Laden was with the wife, and he hits Osama bin Laden. That was the old story, as I understand it. I've heard it quite a bit.
And it was sort of, we agreed. And like I said, like shit in the room, if they want to say what happened, if other guys want to say what they saw, I don't have a problem with that. But I'm telling you what happened. And I'm not comfortable. I wanted that top cover forever, man. I'm happy to die with that knowledge.
What changed your mind about talking?
Constantly getting harassed. My daughter's not losing sleep. A fraud, a liar. It's like 53 awards, 16 years in Navy SEAL. No.
So he's going on to say the reason he's coming out now, that was my question to you before, let me know, is because he was getting harassed by Anti-Hero. It's hard to believe you come out with this big of an event where you got Admiral McCraven, you got DOD, you got all the players involved.
Was involved with all kinds of combat operations. I'm not a fucking fraud. And if there's a problem with the room and you're at Delta.
Why do you think it came apart? Why do you think the best friend idea shattered?
I have thought about it every day. It's got to be some sort of professional jealousy. I know at that level, at the tier 1 level, I know that guys who didn't get picked for the mission were extremely jealous. Imagine being on the stairs to bin Laden's room and bin Laden dies and you don't like the guy who did it. Maybe it's jealousy.
Fascinating, right? Imagine being on the stairs and you don't like the guy and bin Laden dies. You don't like the guy who did it. The wording here is very slippery. It's tricky because now we had one story we've all heard. We had this story. Got the after action report story. We got Bissonnette, who's writing a new book, which is coming out. Allegedly, there's a third person, which would have been the point man, that we've never heard from. Rob says this is coming out now because of what he got from Anti-Hero when they went through their process to go over Rob's story. This is groundbreaking. I've watched the whole thing a few times, trying to wrap my mind around it and go, did I miss something? And you'll watch it, again, link below, and you'll still be going, let me go back and listen to that again.